back in the, when did that song come out? 97, 80s,
Yeah.
whenever. I'm too young for this, guys. But
We've got the wide view now.
oh, nice. Yeah, I wish it would let me do that. Maybe I can. Nope.
I can flip the camera around too while we're live.
What are you guys going live on?
I'm on Twitch. He's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Flip this back around. There we go.
Just be something different to the streams.
Oh yeah, I
you
put
know.
Caffiene and Octane Downforce battles.
Oh man, a
Ooh.
great save by Ricky in the Mark V.
And you know, it's risky taking a car like that out here. That kid is not cheap, and he scratches
No.
a barrier. That's it. You know, big scuff down the side of the car. That's risky.
The question is like, how long does it take? You know, if you can afford it, how long are you willing to wait for a new bumper?
Exactly.
It's a very tricky scenario, and that's why you guys don't see my Z out here, is because although I'm comfortable driving it out here, as you saw last month, I am not comfortable waiting 8 months for a new Z bumper to come in. However, you know, there's no kid from Z1, you know, Z1 wants to throw that my way, we can talk.
Right.
But, you know, I just don't see it worth risking my new paint in the 2024 body.
Not at all. Not at all.
Just for this kind of day. You know, if it's the GTR, it's got a wrap. The body panels are 30 years old. If I dent it, you know, is what it is. That might sound bad to some of you online, but you guys got to understand, you know, the paint on that's falling off when you look at it the wrong way. You know, the dent on it, you know, it might be the size of a small basketball, but it's not going to take 8 months to get a new rear bumper in, like if I dented the Z. Yeah, the Teggy's just in here for the hopes and dreams aspect.
He's just having fun.
Speaking of crashes, so our boys over at Jzilla are running Road Atlanta right now, which is right across the street. We saw a Porsche Boxster coming off of the whole left end, front to rear bumper just completely smashed in. Thought to myself, like, man, you know, you got to have some big cojones to be out there on Road Atlanta when it's anything but bone dry. I mean, you gotta just be tough as nails to be comfortable enough to go out there when it's wet. Okay, so looks like we got some more cars coming into the mix. Looks like people were taking a break. I'm seeing race trailers, but no race cars. Very confused about that one. Oh, you know what they are? Those are for the Can-Ams. Those aren't road legal. Okay. All right, forgive me. Okay, so here we have RS5 Bronze just dominating the whole shot in the Audi Quattro all-wheel drive. Now the Challenger on a dry day might have had the competition. He's very good at what he does, but I just don't think, oh wow, okay. I just don't think our boy here is going to have the grip he needs. And I've noticed, you know, with the Challenger, it goes by very fast and its lines are good, but sometimes these corners are way too tight.
Oh yeah.
You know, seeing him come around this one, he nearly kissed the cone on the first apex. He needs to be aiming for not that middle cone, but the other cone on that first corner. That's where he needs to be aiming for.
To carry more momentum.
Yeah, his setup needs to be wider, aiming for this, so that he can floor it coming into this, and then get some momentum back when he floors it on that tiny straightaway. Because the way I see it is, you want to carry as much momentum as you can through the corner, so when you have a straightaway, you can accelerate.
Exactly.
Once your acceleration zone is gone, just kiss winning goodbye. Massive chop kick from the Fox body as the G80 M4, for the first time, struggling to keep up with the Fox body. I don't know if he was sleeping at the line or what. I have to rewatch the footage, but he is nowhere close to the Fox body.
That's the first time run right there, the S2000, the first score run.
You guys just heard that these S2000s is the first timed run of the night.
All right, we are going to watch the blue one take home the win here. I'm going to put $50 on that prediction, and I'm not saying that just from the launch. I'm telling you just from that line. You see that line he just took there? He was able to cut that like it was butter. He knows exactly where the car needs to be, and it is listening to him. He is steering that car like it is a go-kart. The rear wing might be giving him the downforce he needs, but I don't think those really kick in until at least 60 to 80 miles an hour. So all of what you're seeing here is just agility, familiarity with the car, and driver skill. As you see this setup he's got here, he finally, it's exactly the line I've been talking about. He comes around, missing this first entry off the bank, setting up so that he's about midway through, and then he's trying, you can see the front end trying to come closer to the grandstands, exactly where it needs to be. Now, he wasn't exactly at the line that I'm describing, but I think he's the only one that's gotten pretty much to the closest.
He's
part.
getting close to it.
And they come around this bend off the bank, and that's where they're able to make up any lost ground.
Right.
Vanilla Ice just struggling out there in the 30-year-old suspension as the Mark
Locking
5.
the brakes up, coming into the first big corner.
Mark 5 just dominating left and right. Seems to be the chassis of the day today.
And
However, I would love to see Ricky against the import comp.
Yeah, that would be a really good race. And I've noticed the Mustang, that white Mustang has gotten a little slower. When he came out here initially, he was hauling.
I think he's gotten a bit nervous.
Yeah.
I think he had a lot of confidence with over driving the car. Okay, here we go. We have a Corolla versus BMW. BMW stands a chance now. 3 deep in the 320, 328, 325, whatever the hell it is. He is early on the brakes. The Corolla, that racing stripe, not really giving him the mods he thought it would, as he is realizing that maybe economy suspension is not the move for autocross. But hey, we love to see him out there learning. That's what matters, is to at least try. If you have a stock Corolla, my recommendation to you is get grippy tires, get some lowering springs so that you get rid of your floating economy suspension, because it is an economy car. That is the purpose of the car. And, those things do pack a punch. They get up and go. They're little inline fours. They got front wheel drive. See, a lot of understeer over here is trying to get the car to go in the direction he needs it. But, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just, everybody thinking that if they hit every apex, they're good to go, not realizing that some corners have one apex you're supposed to hit, the rest you're supposed to miss.
And we've got the Can-Am launching out, getting a good lead, coming into the first corner. He's three-wheeling, coming around.
Wow, and a beautiful connection.
Long drift. You got
understeer bit, seeing that car control, the handwork, very, very entertaining to see him throw that wheel around. Now, what I'm noticing on these Can-Ams is similar to the S2000. The suspension lets you float in a bit, and then instead of it spinning, it just straightens out.
Right, and they've got the power to really
This
just
is exactly the line I've been talking about all day. Now, obviously, you don't want to spin out there, but that's exactly the line I've been talking about all day, and he just nailed it. So I think that is going to be the line for the day. You need to be able to get the last bit of energy on the final stint. Yeah, G80 comp versus the F80 and 4. And I'm a big fan of the F80 chassis. Anybody that knows me knows I've considered one many a time over, but for the price that these cars are, you can get a lot of new cars. And the F80 is a great car, but those new car warranties are a big plus. And for a guy like me, if I want to track my car for 7 years, well, Nissan's going to give me an engine for the next 7 years. If I can do that, I'm going to do it. I'm going to blow that thing up every chance I get and say, okay, give me another. Okay, give me another. It's all on Nissan paperwork, baby. Let's go.
Right.
Wow, very close as the F80 chassis, entering about the same time that the G80 had a perfect exit. And F80 is the first across the line, almost jousting for corner after corner. I would love.
First time he runs?
No, I think he was out there earlier. I would love to see a just 2-car spectator race.
Yeah.
Maybe not spectator race, but just a 2-car race where they go wheel to wheel. But I think there's a big insurance thing there. So I think part of their thing is like they're allowed to do autocross. And essentially, this is autocross happening simultaneously. So they're like right within that fine line of wheel to wheel, but not.
Yeah, the spectator drags, that's a big deal. A lot of tracks do that now down here in the southeast.
Wow.
Getting sideways.
Yeah, Fox Body really throwing it in with an inertia drift. Challenger.
Man, this is close.
Come on, Challenger.
I think Challenger's got it just by a hair.
A few seconds, yeah. I think that's our JCW friend down there.
Yeah, it is.
Black JCW.
He's good.
Now, I had personally raced the gentleman in the carbon fiber Mini Cooper, and that was a lot of fun. And I raced him in the GTR, launched on him, figured I need to give him everything I had, and I was impressed with how fast the car was, but a little disappointed with for how modified the car was. I thought it was going to be a bit more of a contender. Maybe he let off halfway. Maybe he had a bunk race, whatever it was. But we've all been there. I raced Dingium. My first time he was out here, I didn't realize his car was turbo. So I thought to myself, I'm in a big GTR. I shouldn't give him a launch control. That's just rude. And then I hear the turbo spool, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I realized that maybe I should have launched on him. All right. Now this is going to be interesting. Ricky in the Mark V Supra with our boy here in the blue carbon fiber S2K. This S2K definitely having driver mind. Oh, Ricky going a bit sideways as he comes out of the first bin into the switchback and giving the S2K all the power he needs. Now Ricky is going to have the power here, but the corner exit is going to determine who gets on it first. Ricky getting on it as he already approaches the halfway mark. The S2K trailing, but it looks like first onto the braking zone. And Ricky around into the switchbacks again. S2K floating the rear end into place, cutting it early
such a
to
close.
get the undercut. And I think that looked like Ricky. Am I crazy? I think the Mark V got that one.
Yeah, that was.
All right, looks like we're calling shots today, boys.
Got it by the tip of his body kit.
That was very, very close.
What was the second number? I'm sorry.
Okay, so here we have the JCW Mini Cooper going out, lining up. This guy is someone to watch. We've seen him a few times. Yeah, I've seen him a few times now. If this is the guy I'm thinking of, he is no slouch. He knows what he's doing. He knows how the car works. And those Mini Coopers, those JCWs come with a V48, don't they?
Yeah.
BMW V48. So it's the supermotor dumbed down from the V6 to the inline 4 turbo version. So you get a lot of playroom.
Doesn't weigh that much either.
No, they don't. They're like 23, 2,500 pounds.
2,500 pounds. He's all-wheel drive in
All-wheel
this
drive,
specific
I mean,
model. Yeah.
Look, see that wing on that back? That wing isn't for show. That's a functional wing on the back of that JCW. So those things grip and go. They have low end power. All right, back to the BMW and the Corolla. What can we say about this one? This guy's on his way to Aldi. The other guy is on his way to Kmart. They got to figure out which one's going to get the groceries home first. So it looks like a little bit of one-wheel peel from the open diff on the BMW as he tries to touch the wall with his bare hand. I don't know if he realizes, but your skin plus concrete at over 10 miles an hour equals shaving your fingers off. Not very comfortable. It shows you how much he's trying when he's got his driver wheel hand out the door. Once again, just throwing his rear end around. You can see the rear just rolling and tossing with each turn. Okay, here we go. M4 Comp G80 chassis with stock gooseneck and big old Brimbos versus the Can-Am on what appear to be slicks. Can-Am just absolutely destroying, lifting up the rear wheels as he comes out of the second switchback, down the second straightaway, into the banking corner. As the BMW taking advantage. Oh, and the Can-Am getting sideways. The BMW just sleeping on the corner, nowhere to be found to take advantage of the driver mistake. Kicks in on the straightaway, down into the braking zone with the Can-Am having all the grip he needs to come into the final corner set. Around, tossing it all to the left side, and across the line goes the Can-Am. Here we have the JCW and the F80 BMW. Wow, JCW
Launching
taking the
hard.
launch on the whole shot. Amazing corner entry. No brakes yet, and there we go. On the brakes, hard.
Beautiful
Great
turn,
corner
yeah.
exit. Okay, the BMW is not slouching either. It looks like the M4 is giving it all it has as he is doing his best to match the JCW. But my God, that launch and acceleration. You can see the front wheel struggling as he comes around the bank, setting it up. Finally, the turbo kicking in. The BMW just not having what it needs. The JCW floating the rear into place as we're watching the front end just pull together. The BMW, yeah, that M4.
Beamer's catching.
To the JCW. Shit.
I don't know.
Shit. Who won that one?
Give that one to me.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, you guys heard the race director. It goes to the Mini Cooper. Fox Body versus Challenger. Looks like a rematch as the Fox Body clearly having the agility in these corners. I love the Challengers. I've driven them. They're great cars. They're fun, but my God, they're just big. And we can see on the Challenger, if you guys notice, his wheel angle around these corners is more angled than any other car. And I think he is turning just too much. He is relying on that front end to turn for him too much, and he needs to be throttle steering where he can instead of getting that front end. But although that front end is large, he is having to manhandle that front end where he needs it to be. I'm just seeing a lot of wheel angle on that turn every time.
Yeah,
more
they're
than
not
most other
carrying it
cars.
out into the turn and coming up near the wall. Is what I'm
Yeah.
noticing. They're not following through that
It's cutting.
sweep.
It's cutting their exit speed
Yeah.
very, very down. And we'll watch here as an experienced driver, less wheel angle as we see him going closer. You see how he carries out and uses the straightaway to pull him towards the wall. As you accelerate on these banking corners, you get magnetized to the brick wall on the outside bank. So your goal is to use that to your advantage and have it steer the car for you.
Beautiful corner.
Yeah, just another great job. I wish he was on coilovers. I feel like he would be so much better, but I think those things come
It's
with
also
like,
his daily.
yeah, I think they also come with like, air cups on them or something.
Yeah, he's
so
got like air suspension.
he probably has like adjustable suspension. Another big lockup on
Oof.
Vanilla Ice. I mean, just getting what's the word I'm looking for? Just wearing himself out more and more with each lap. It seems like he's just overthinking or overdriving or maybe not committing enough.
So how does the lockup happen?
So a lockup happens when you have an old car with no ABS.
Okay.
And when you have no ABS, when you brake hard enough, it stops your whole wheel.
Oh.
So when that happens, you see this big puff of smoke, and it obviously just causes your whole car to go off balance as well. So lockups, like on the GTR, if I'm turning, they'll cause me to go straight, and then I gotta let off. It's counterintuitive, but in a lockup, you have to let off, get grip again, and then back onto the brakes. So it's what your ABS does for you. That vibration you feel on your ABS, you have to do that with your foot. All right, and we are going to be pausing the stream here. You guys keep going.
Yep, you're good.
Hey, what's up?
We've got the WRX coming into the last set of corners here with the Yamaha. It looks like it's pretty close, but it looks like the WRX is going to get the win here. And we've got the Supra matched up with the BMW. Supra gets the launch. Coming down the straight pretty fast, carrying some speed into the first set of turns. That Supra just has the speed and the power. He's getting a little sideways. Come in through the series of turns here, approaching the big main straightaway here. So he whips the Supra around, getting sideways, coming down the main straight. And into the first corner, he is keeping a good line, trying to keep the Supra gripped up. He's got a lot of power there. Just hard to keep that power down to the ground. And it looks like the Supra wins that round. With the Beamer crossing very late. That poor Corolla, man, he's just getting... Supra is going to wipe the floor with this one. Corolla just simply doesn't have the power or the suspension or the brakes. He's got nothing really going for him. He's just out there having fun.
Yo, Zach does a really good job commentating.
Yeah.
I was like that. He's not here. I'm like, wow, this man, he knows his stuff. I love the fact
Yeah.
that he commentates it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
No wonder people watch.
Yeah. Oof. You should see us when we stream Forza. Have you
Yeah.
watched our streams?
Nah, I haven't watched it.
You need to go. You need to go on our YouTube channel. Watch. It's a fun time.
The Mini Cooper's the Fox one.
Oh man, this is gonna be a good race.
Yeah. Yo, a little off topic. You gonna watch the fight? And
Huh?
you gonna watch the fight? Do you watch boxing at all?
Not really.
No
So feel free to just
way.
chime in and commentate,
Well,
whatever you want to
definitely,
do. There's a couple
definitely.
seats right here. Pull one up, pull one up.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, we've been waiting for you, man.
You've been waiting for me.
Yeah. We were like, where'd he go?
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, we're back with a bird's eye view. We've got a few more commentators here to join us.
Look at that.
Oof. Right on. Right.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Nismo Zach, and I am the founder of Speedgate Motorsports and co-founder here of Pat Drives on Instagram. We got our boy Matt Lowe here as well, and of course one of our guys, Sticks in Hits Girl City. So we're all going to be commentating on today's race today, and just enjoying the AC in this wonderful, wonderful venue.
Gotta love the AC.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most enjoyable times at CNO for me, because I've been able to chill the whole time, enjoy the box, watch the racing. You know, every time I'm out there, you get hot, sweaty.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what you're doing.
Feel muggy.
Well,
Right.
I would love to be out there, but my car is the Z is here today. I'm racing tomorrow in the GTR, so that's set up. But the Z is like on very, very slick tires. The whole way over here, I was struggling to even get here because the roads were like just damp, and my rear was stepping out at 40 miles an hour. So, you know, until this thing is absolutely dry, I'm not really going to put it out there. And the money that I would have spent to go out there, I just bought a draggy telemetry unit for the track. I just spent $100 on that.
So how much is it?
Today it's 100.
That's a Teggy.
It's 69. It's 69
That's
every
a
register.
90s model. I was registered the 86 and stuff.
Yeah, here we have RS
That's not a Type
Bronze
R, is
just
it?
dominating the track as the RS3
It's a
comes around the
GSR, but
bend.
he's just got a nice wing on it and a body kit.
Yeah, so that's a GSR, is that right?
Yeah, it's a GSR tag.
So what is the difference for the viewers? What is the difference between the GSR Type R?
So the
and regular
GSR,
LS?
that's just your standard USDM model.
Oh, guy turned on his
they-
blinker for us.
they
That's sweet.
turned-
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it looks like, and they've got the B18, the regular B18 C1, whereas the Type R has a C5. They're making 200 horsepower,
Okay.
making a little bit more power. Got the better brakes.
And you know, funny enough, we have Sticks, his car, in the shop right now. He's here with us, and they were doing his engine work, and they said, "Hey, man, you got a dual overhead cam B series." and he sat there and he goes, you know, Steven from J&M, he goes, "I don't think I've ever seen this. I didn't even know this was possible." And I'll tell you what, man, I've ridden in that Teggy. It's a first gen 89, right? 89 Teggy.
89 Gen 1.
And that car has more power than I would have ever imagined. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I remember flooring it in the Z on a straightaway and looking behind me, expecting to see him in the dust. Where is he? But like 35 feet behind me, going, blah, 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 do my VTEC, blah, blah, blah.
Sounds like an angry lawnmower.
Yeah, dude. We got to get a custom exhaust on that thing.
Oh, I
There's-
definitely plan on
I
that.
talked to a guy, custom exhaust, 250. Welded and
Is that,
installed.
that's for the full thing?
Full thing,
Full
cat back.
thing.
It's like 10 minutes from my house. He's right next to where Devin
Yeah,
works.
send me his information.
Yeah.
'cause
It's
I-
called Woodstock Muffler. So I'll send that.
That's where Stock gets it. Or Stock gets it.
The 15-year-old cottage one.
Stepfather gets his exhaust for his truck from
I hit him up because I got a Nismo exhaust for the RZ34 for my Z. My buddy gave me a Nismo exhaust for free because he chopped it up. Hit up Woodstock Muffler. They're like, "We'll weld it, put it together for 250."
Yeah.
I was like, "And muffler delete?" He said, "And muffler delete." And I'm like, "Okay, take my money."
Yeah.
All right, back to the racing. The Can-Am is struggling to put the grip down as the S2000, using that driver mod, enters the braking zone off the bank, carrying the rear end as the front loads up and through the switchback, around the corner, the first one out of the braking zone and on the exit, as the Can-Am is finally joining him.
You said that kid's 15?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Dude,
very
he's got a lot
impressive.
of guts.
Very
Shoot,
impressive.
doing
The
that
Can-Am
is
is
insane.
catching up. Okay, here we go. WRX just jumping off the line with the all-wheel drive. We're going to see the M4 shoot through this section here, as he always does, catching up in the braking zones. As they go around the first switchback, they're going to get back on the power and then an early brake to set up for the next straightaway, simultaneously turning as they both enter the straight. The all-wheel drive in the WRX having all the grip it needs to come around the wow, shaking the
Three-wheeler.
rear end, yeah. Unbelievable as the WRX upsets the rear, loses, and then gets back the gap that he caused with the driver mistake. Here we go, a great corner. That's exactly what I'm talking about, a great
Perfect.
corner, but he is not going to have the power he needs to get through this final set, because those mistakes on that switch
It'll
to the
get you
bank,
every time.
Yeah, that cost him the race. So here we have Ricky again in Deanne going back out in the twin Mark V Supras. A beautiful sheen on the Veris kit. Don't know if that's a wrap. It's got to be paint, I would imagine,
So
but
what's the difference between
it
a
just
Mark IV and
looks
Mark V?
gorgeous.
So, Steven, you've seen some of his cars. You've seen the red Supra that he's got?
Yeah, I've
That's a
seen
Mark IV. These are the Mark Vs.
Oh,
These are the
okay.
new ones, yeah.
So a Mark IV Supra, the A80 chassis, is your traditional Supra you see in Fast and Furious, the large blob-eyed almost. They have the Target top built in, big 2JZ, big turbos.
Yeah.
Everybody loves those cars. These Mark Vs are the BMW outsourced drivetrain adaptation of the new Gen Supra, coming with a ZF 7-speed
Yep.
and a B58 inline 6, right?
Inline 6 turbo.
turbo
Yeah.
engine. Single turbo or stock turbo? I think it's a single, isn't
I
it?
believe it's a single stock
twin
turbo.
scroll.
Yeah, it's twin scroll.
JCW just dominating in
Oh,
all-wheel
yeah, he
drive,
is.
clearly knowing how to handle the car. We can watch him
Mini Cooper.
evening out the wheel as he comes around. We're going to see here, he goes left then right so that he gets the perfect setup. Not too much steering angle like we've been seeing in the other cars. And he's going to eat the left side coming out of this bank on the straightaway. Good as he goes wide on this and sets it up perfectly.
Little tight, little wide,
little
but-
wide and understeer, but still enough to get through.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm not thinking that that's all-wheel drive model. I think
No,
he's
I think it's
front-wheel
front-wheel
drive.
from what we're seeing.
the
But I will
price
say
gap
the
is
launches
insane.
are pretty crazy. I feel
Still,
like it might be a little-
he's launching.
Okay, so here we have another Can-Am back out there. This one with the American Army star on it as well. The guy struggling to keep the suspension in place as the Teggy is just loading
Army and
left
star.
to right on that suspension. You know, these low guys, they don't realize it, but too low and the car actually works against you. So he's not blinking at us. He's only got one working tail light. So once again, standard Teggy owner here. Why have two functioning taillights as long as the car tracks?
Right.
With the Beamer and the WRX.
That would be a good
It's got the
one.
wings on the side.
Yeah, the Can-Am just
Dominating.
dominating of the cars out here. And I'll say, guys, you know, Downforce Battles is a classless race, so it's just, you know, kind of fend for yourself. It's difficult to hold classes in a race like this when it's an open pit. So the idea is that you get as much driver time, seat time as possible. But with that, you have to wait in queue, and you can only run 2 cars at a time. They can only load so many down at the bottom. So you're really limited as far as who you're going up against, because you're just kind of luck of the draw. So your best bet, if you want to race someone specifically, is to simply just line up with them in the back of the pit, roll in together, and then do your matchups. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of here is friends going against friends,
Yeah.
seeing the same cars over and over, trying to get that rematch in, trying to see where they can make up that difference.
Looks like the Challenger is just dominating again, like he's been doing for the most part.
Yeah,
Good job.
he's been doing good. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, and you know, it might just be me, but on that banking corner, it just feels like he's cutting it really tight.
Yeah.
And I feel like he needs to be, you know, they've got all that room over there for a reason.
He needs to
You
carry
need
out
to
the
use it.
momentum.
Yeah, you brake so much to turn tight, you lose that speed.
Right.
You got to make up for it. If you just hold that speed, you're easier to roll back into the throttle.
Yeah, like this S2K right here, he knows how to take this corner. Watch, he's going to come up. He's going to use most of the track coming up, letting the momentum carry out. Then he dives back in. That's just the.
Sounds fantastic too.
Oh yeah, it's such a good car. He's
Floating the rear end into place every time. See, that's the line right there, man.
perfect,
That's it.
perfection.
And yep, that is just gorgeous. Yeah, so once again, he actually has an Ariel Atom V8. He brings this thing out because he doesn't want to shit on everybody.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him one
Open
bit.
wheel race car. Okay, here we go. The C5 Corvette versus the Can-Am. Can-Am getting the jump. The C5 catching up down the straightaway into the braking zone. First one on the brakes goes to C5 as they go around the first switchback. The Can-Am freewheeling the rear end as he tries to bring it down with the gas. Basically the handling characteristics of a 911 turbo. Now that Can-Am has the lightweight and agility, but the Corvette knowing how to handle the car with the perfect 50-50 weight distribution and transaxle T56 transmission, able to come around using all of the horsepower in those LS2s. Perfect line, absolutely beautiful. Comes around the final switchback, setting up a little wide so we can keep it
Beautiful.
straight. And if we notice, the fast guys don't use that runoff because they
Yeah.
know they need to be straight instead of turning around the finish line.
Got to be on the gas.
WRX.
Yeah, so definitely all-wheel drive of the WRX. He is braking super early. He shouldn't be on the brakes until at least the red barriers. But I'm seeing him come on the brakes right as he comes across the orange, leading to the green before the red. Hearing the understeer on that front of the car, yeah, you can hear those tires struggling. The M4 showing its heritage and power as it
Here we
screams
go.
down the straightaway. The M4, nearly identical as they come across the halfway mark, both into the braking zones. The WRX taking a wider line, knowing he's got to set it up, but so much understeer. You can see him cranking the wheel, and that just costing him every time. So once again, I think what our driver is experiencing is too much throttle. He needs to pull off the throttle so the car turns more. Now this is good.
Money on the
Ricky
Supra.
in the Mark V. There's a big drift out of the Mark V as the JCW also slows down. Both simultaneously
dead
taking
even.
the switchback as they come down the second straightaway. The JCW having the line, both coming into the braking zone. The JCW first around the banking corner, seeing this thing, hear those tires. The JCW and the Mark V coming down the halfway mark. The Mark V trailing as the JCW eats that braking zone first, sending that rear end to the left side. And then the other side of the passenger, the Mark V.
Lost
I'll
it.
take that back.
Mark V just getting a little bit too much throttle, and I think when you're racing a fast competitor, you're inclined more to overdrive. So you have, Ricky in the Mark V seeing the car getting faster and faster, further and further away. So he's thinking, okay, I need to give it a little bit more sauce in these corners. I need to give it a little bit more juice in these corners to make up for the gap.
Have y'all
And
driven one of those?
the Can-Ams? No.
What?
Those things are so much fun.
No, I
They
haven't had the
look
pleasure.
sick. Like, they look insane.
I would love to. I just,
My dad used to own an old one. They're a lot of fun.
freewheeling on the Can-Am again. I really thought the Can-Am had this all day, but I'm surprised how close that BMW
That
is.
Beamer's holding his own.
But just doesn't have what he needs as the Can-Am is able to fly around these bends like it's nothing. Okay, Vanilla Ice versus Deanne.
Let's see what we got here.
Vanilla Ice
Gets the launch.
just struggling every time. Now he's got this section down well, but it's right about here. It's way too tight. He needs to be going further and cutting out. Once again, why? Why are we going that close? Why are we that tight? You need to carry more momentum. You're overturning your wheel. So the driver really needing to focus. See,
Oh, I see what
okay,
you mean.
yeah,
Okay.
that was a bit better. I'll give him that. That was a bit better. He carried it out. But what we're seeing is the driver beginning their cut on the corner early, and then that costing them as they're trying to finish mid-corner. Now that is actually the line he's been needing to take, but the rest of it, nice. Okay, that was pretty solid as well. I'm not gonna lie, he really nailed that. final
Yeah,
section.
that was
What's that?
artist.
They found it. Yeah.
What's the RS5 against the Mini Cooper? Man?
What's his name again?
RS5?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Y'all
Forgive
said
us.
Juan. Something like that.
Juan.
Or something like that.
No, it's like
Don't. Whatever you say is on video, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
up to you. You start
Yeah,
guessing,
I
that's
don't-
on you,
That's,
man.
that's fine. That's
I don't
fine.
run.
See, if we notice how the Audi, when he comes out of this bend, he straightens
Yeah.
up and accelerates towards
Yeah.
the bank, and the bank carries him out,
Yeah.
giving him the jump he needs.
coming in.
And then a perfect setup
Perfect.
once again, having to take these two apexes wide so you can aim for that third cone.
Audi is fantastic.
Beautiful.
Tell me, man. That Mini Cooper and the RX5, that'd be an interesting race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get the Challenger and the Corvette against each other. I think that would be probably one of the best ones out there.
Definitely.
That'd be a solid race.
Wouldn't the Corvette just smoke it on?
No, this guy is he's really good in the straights. Look at the Challenger. Watch him take off.
Yeah, that Challenger uses every bit of his power.
And then right here, he's just gonna float on over to the next corner,
A little bit of gas.
and then he's gonna float on over to the next
Oh,
corner.
okay. So instead of them cutting so hard, they should hug that wall.
Yeah.
See, he's just
Bro, yeah. That's a
Gone.
lot of power underneath that.
yeah.
Look at that.
Those flags adding the aerodynamics that he needs to push him through.
The morale.
Seeing a lot of body roll on that Challenger. As it appears to be a stock wide body.
Spread democracy, freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spread democracy one lap at a time. Spread shoot freedom out the exhaust. See, that's what I'm saying. Like the Corvette and the Challenger would be great, but as you see, the corner speed on this Corvette,
Yeah.
the driver knows that he needs to go wide to cut in. See how he's going wide and then cutting and then straightening out as he exits?
see that,
A lot of these guys, what their issue is they're coming into the corner, they're saying, I go straight here and then I crank it, and then I go straight and then I crank it. This whole track is about flow of motion. If your wheel is straight, it should only be straight for a few seconds as you're preparing the next corner.
So they set up new tracks, right? Like every
Yeah,
so
it's
often?
different every time.
Okay, so are there like specific tracks that you'd be like, oh, this is just straight power, or you'll be like, no.
There's been more tracks that have been set up for like more power, where like it goes into this, and then it's all one big straightaway, and then it like hooks left and then comes around the bank, and then it comes around and it goes into like two corners and then back straight away this way. So the guys with the power, like I was hitting like 90 miles an hour out there in the GTR, and the guy I was racing was hitting like 120 in his Tesla.
The Tesla's
Yeah.
crazy.
What's crazy is I had my friend riding with him to tell me how much faster he was. And he was like, "You were winning," and then we hit the straightaway, and we hit 120, and I saw you were still going, and I'm like, "Yeah, nah, man, nah, that makes sense," because I looked at the straightaway, and y'all were gone, and I lost to that guy by like a hair.
Yeah.
But I mean, apparently the guy was overheating his brakes. He was overdriving the front end to do what he could. Whereas the GTR, it wasn't understeering, it wasn't oversteering, it was just being compliant. So
Is that the one you jumped off you beat out the start?
yeah,
Off the start?
yeah. Well, I beat all those off the start. I don't think I've lost a launch race yet. I think the guy that was closest to beating me, which I still won the launch off, was a Shops GTA Global Time Attack race spec Golf R.
Wow.
And it was like the equivalent of my GTR.
That's a
next
2K,
step.
ain't it?
Full aero, full, all this stuff. And I launched with him.
Is that a 2K?
'cause
Yeah,
I
that's
knew I had to
S2K.
give him
Yeah, he's been
sauce.
doing really good.
And I remember like looking
He,
at him, I was like this.
he knows
the whole
this track
time.
well.
And then we entered the corner and he flew by, and I'm like, "You have giant 6-piston brakes. I have 4-piston brakes that are 14 inches big. Your brakes are 17 inches big. That is a massive difference in stopping power." So, yeah, that guy ended up just slowly but surely winning that race. The GTR struggling in the braking department and the downforce department.
Shoot. Oh, I was about to say we got the race, but never mind. We got the beamer. What BMW is that?
I believe.
It looks like some kind of 3 Series, 328,
Yeah.
335.
That's going to be a good race.
Oh, yeah. That is going to be the best race so far, probably. From the Challenger and the
Challenger and
RS5.
RS5, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I got my money on the RS5.
Yeah.
He's got that corner speed.
We're gonna have that vet and the blue S2K lining up too.
Yeah. Oh, the launch all
Oh,
day.
the vet and the S2K.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tight race.
I would very much like to see. I think the vet's going to launch, but I think that S2K is
You're gonna
just
catch
so
him.
good at what he does.
I feel like the 2K is gonna have him around the turns.
Yeah, that driver is very good at what he does.
I mean, they're both relatively good.
Yeah, but
No.
that 2K, I've seen the finesse that guy's been throwing down. He's cutting these corners as close as I would.
Is that a Fox body?
That's Fox
There was
body,
one
yeah.
time I got it on video. I was out here at the track.
Yeah, there's the white one and there's
Come
that
around
black
one
one.
of
The
these
black
bends.
one's fast.
I come so close to the barrier that my side skirt taps it, spins the barrier, but it's not enough to like momentum or anything. It's just enough to where I'm like skimming it. And I go on the Insta360, and you see like the moment of contact as it goes from like this to this to this to this, and it just skims it, and the barrier like moves a little bit. But then the car keeps going, and then there's another time where I completely smacked the barrier, and that was fine. And that's what caused my first dent on the car. But that's okay. After 3 years of racing, I got
Those
my first
memories
dent in
right
my
there.
head. It's kind of expected.
Right.
Here we go.
All right. Wow, Deanne launching on the M4. Okay, this is going to be quite a close race. Both BMW powered drivetrains. First on the braking zone goes Deanne as the M4 takes advantage of its momentum going down the second straightaway through the chicane set around the switchback. The Mark V doing what it can to stay with the M4 as the M4 screams into the braking zone. Out onto the bank, a little bit too wide, too early, giving Deanne the chance she needs to get on the gas. The Mark V and the M4 coming down into the braking zone off the bank. The M4 having a slight car to half lead, but now Deanna taking advantage in the braking zone through the final corner, down the switchback, and the M4 is a little wide, but across the line goes the M4. If she had just a little bit more momentum, she could have taken advantage of the wide line and definitely got that. Here's what we were waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mountain Mix-Up Community Challenger versus the RS5 Bronze Ava Alliance. RS5 Audi, powered by Quattro all-wheel drive. Now, the Audi loading up the left side as the Challenger screams down with those Bald Eagle V8s, both into the braking zone. The Audi, God, that Challenger, see, just carries way too much steering angle, and see how much that just cost him?
Oh, yeah.
The Audi already in the braking zone is the, oh no! Oh, understeer into the blue side. What has happened? And the Challenger making up the gap. The Audi doing everything it can, and across the line with a mistake goes the Audi. Goes to show you that.
Is that like DQ or at time?
No, not today.
He got lucky.
Goes to show you that even if he messes up, the driver in that Audi is good enough to keep going. The Challenger, I mean, well, I can only say it so many times. He's doing great. He's got the car control. It's not getting sideways. He's not understeering. He's not over braking. But he is, I think, just, you know, it could be from outside perspective. I think he just might be overturning that car. I'm seeing a lot of steering angle, and he's having to slow down so much that his momentum in the corner as he exits is just killing his time and his competition overall.
I agree.
We were just talking about body kits. I wonder how bad of a dent that's going to leave on the front of that.
Oh, not so bad. He probably just chipped the splitter or something like that.
How much is that? How much is this?
If it's carbon fiber, expensive, but if you're a race car driver, you realize carbon fiber's stupid if it's under your car, because you're going to break that shit. And for those of you race car drivers with carbon fiber side splitters and you know, rear diffusers and your front splitters,
Where do you get your money?
Yeah, I was going to say, how much cheaper would it be to buy 3 of those in FRP than just replace 1 in carbon? So the way I see it is, if I could buy the same part 3 times over, I'm doing that instead.
All right, we've got a really, really good race. We've got the Corvette and the blue S2000.
Off the line with the S2K getting the whole shot, with the C5 having the V8 power it needs to go down the straightaway. First into the braking zone, the taillights tapping on the S2K. He knows he needs to get that front end loaded so he can give it the gas it needs. Both taking the corner at the same time. This is once again the straightaway speed on the Corvette, giving him the straightaway he needs. First into the braking.
Wow.
And the S2K is going to come around. We're seeing the VTEC struggle to keep up with that V8. He's literally got half the car when it comes to the engine capability. S2K holding a beautiful drift in entry as he uses momentum drift to carry through the corner, but not enough, as that LS and the Corvette with that 50-50 weight distribution is all it needs to get across the line first through this autocross course. Now this is going to be interesting. The Drift G35 versus the wannabe Drift Teggy.
This hurts me as a Teggy driver.
Wow, surprisingly the G35 taking the lead. Both cars feel like they're deleting into the track itself as they're so low you can't tell where the car ends and the track begins. That one wheel peel on that G35's open differential. The Integra, I'm curious if he's even trying in the corners right now or if he's just rubbing his tires into oblivion. Yeah, there we go. That's a good, it's just not a lot, way too tight. You just hug that whole line. I mean, the G35 looks like you put it in neutral around the fucking finish line.
Right.
Ricky making up, Ricky making up for last race's mistake. Now, the way the scoring works, ladies and gentlemen, is you win a race, no matter who it's against, you get a driver card. Your driver card stacks up, and the drivers with the most cards at the end of the day are going to bracket off into a shootout.
He put his blinker.
They're going to bracket off into a shootout where the final drivers will battle in a 1v1 shootout elimination style. The winner of that lap will stay on track, and the loser will head off with their head hung in disappointment. This stock S2000 having a good time, but nothing competitive when it comes to a modified car like that Mark V Supra. Now, Ricky is a seasoned driver. He's been racing these tracks for some time now. I don't know if he's got any circuit racing under his belt, but I know he's been doing these autocross events for a while. And in my opinion, your best bet is autocross, refine, and then begin your HPDEs. If you can refine yourself on autocross, you'll be ready for that high-performance driver education track day at a track like Atlanta Motorsports Park, Road Atlanta, Roebling Raceway, or Atlanta Motor Speedway. JCW over here dominating the field as a Toyota Corolla He's on his way to get some more milk from the grocery store by the time he heads out of this track.
We got a lineup of the Honda SDK and the Challenger.
That'll be good.
Oh yeah.
Then we got a rematch of that K5 and
M4 comp versus what appears to be the F80 chassis, 330, 320 something. That's the tough thing about these BMWs is unless it's an M, it's hard to know what the heck it is. I mean, unless you see a badge down there that I don't see.
This sounds fantastic. I love
Yeah,
it.
those M4 comps are beautiful.
It looks mean, dude.
Yeah. And they make those in manual too. You gotta give it to BMW for staying a people pleaser. You know, I really do like those. I just I think if I was gonna buy a G80 chassis, I'd just have to go for the M2. I think the M2, although it may look a bit weird right out the gate as a stock car, I see them modded and they look like they're made to be modded. They're made to be lowered. They're made to have different wheels. They're made to have a wide body on it. It's almost like they said, okay, we're going to give you the wide body, but you got to add the flares. We'll give you the front bumper, the rear bumper, and everything else that looks as aggressive as a race car can, or as a wide body BMW can. Vanilla Ice out there making some ice cream while he's slowly going around the track. And you know, I'd give him more credit if I wasn't beat by a Fox body last time I was out there. So the Fox bodies here can be fast. I just think Vanilla Ice. Oh no!
Oh,
See,
man,
some
there's
paint
chunks
come
of
off
them.
of that one as the front splitter.
I think it was more than paint, homie.
Yeah, the front splitter and paint flies off.
Oh yeah, he's done.
On the,
Yeah, that's it.
Vanilla Ice, you know, had a beautiful Mustang.
Well, that's what happens
Oh,
when
he
you
had
get sugar
glass
crash.
that came out of his fog light. Okay, that's what it was. We got glass on the track. Race control now has to go clean up. Yeah, very unfortunate. And, you know, I'll tell you what, guys. For a track, if the worst thing you do is break a fog light, you had a good day. You know, it's autocross. Worst case scenario here, you run over a cone, big whoop-de-doo. You run over one of these smaller things, it hits your front splitter. Oh, well, go spend $800 on a new splitter. You hit one of these big barriers, causes a basketball-sized dent in your fender. Oh, well, you got to get PDR. But I'll tell you what, you go to Road Atlanta across the street, you come off that track one time on a day like today, you go ahead and call your tow truck and your insurance company, tell them you got to buy a new car. Because if you come off Road Atlanta on a day like today and you're drivable, you're getting a full repaint, one way or another, guarantee it. Or at least one side of your car is getting a full
We are
repaint.
about 45 minutes into our scoring run.
I'll stop.
We actually just completed our 50th run of the night. So the way
50
this
runs
works-
down